The day Earth almost disappeared. Man, it sounds exactly like the tagline for some huge summer blockbuster, doesn't it? But today, we're unpacking a reality that is far more gripping and entirely grounded in actual science and history than literally any Hollywood script. In this explainer, we're going to dive deep into our planet's most critical existential moments. We're looking at massive extinction events, tracing that incredibly thin line between existence and total wipeout, and we'll use the hard data to see exactly how close we've actually come to the absolute edge.
When you take a step back and really look at our world anchored out there in the vast darkness of space, you just can't help but feel this profound sense of isolation. I mean, in the grand theater of the universe, our planet is just this tiny, fragile stage. And as you're about to see, the play that unfolds here, well, it's almost been permanently canceled. Multiple times.
So I want you to just imagine this for a second. Imagine waking up to a world where the sun never rises. Seriously. No birds singing outside your window, no morning traffic, no cities glowing in the distance, just complete, suffocating darkness. It sounds like pure science fiction, right? Like some dark apocalyptic fantasy. But the terrifying truth is that this exact sensory nightmare is a scientific reality. It actually happened right here on Earth.
If we zoom out and look at the cosmic timeline, you quickly realize that global disaster isn't just a one-off event. It's a recurring theme in our geological record. Looking at these massive extinction events, like we're talking the Great Dying 252 million years ago, the dinosaur extinction 66 million years ago, all the way up to today, the human era, it becomes crystal clear. Life has literally stood on the absolute edge of annihilation.
Let's actually jump to roughly 66 million years ago. 75%, think about that number for a second. That staggering figure represents an almost incomprehensible loss of life. A massive asteroid, nearly 10 kilometers wide, which is roughly the size of a whole city, slammed into what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. And in the immediate aftermath of that single, catastrophic impact, more than 75% of all species on Earth were completely wiped out, including, of course, every single non-avian dinosaur. But how does one single rock wipe out 3/4 of everything alive? Well, it triggers a terrifying chain reaction. First off, the initial impact releases energy that exceeds billions, yes, billions of nuclear bombs going off all at once. Immediately after that, forests just ignite, continents are shaken by massive earthquakes, and tsunamis hundreds of meters high race across the oceans. But you know what? The real long-term catastrophe happened next. Dust, ash, and sulfur fill the atmosphere, literally blocking out the sunlight for months, maybe even years. Temperatures absolutely plummeted. Plants couldn't perform photosynthesis, which leads directly to total ecosystem collapse. And without plants, the animals starved. For a brief moment in geological history, Earth looked like a dead planet. Okay, let's go even further back, 252 million years ago, to an event ominously known as the Great Dying. And let me tell you, the name is shockingly accurate. Nearly 90% of all marine life was completely wiped out, along with about 70% of all land species. Scientists actually consider this to be the absolute worst mass extinction Earth has ever experienced. It was the ultimate reset button. So, what triggered the Great Dying? Well, it actually wasn't an asteroid this time. The threat came from within. Massive volcanic eruptions released enormous amounts of carbon dioxide, which caused runaway climate change, ocean acidification, and widespread oxygen loss. Basically, the mechanics of this ancient catastrophe temporarily turned our beautiful, vibrant blue and green globe into a highly toxic, suffocating wasteland. It is a stark reminder of the immense, totally uncontrollable power of planetary geology. Now, let's fast forward through millions of years into the modern era. Here, the nature of the threat completely changes. We shift away from geological disasters to systemic humans risk. Take 1962, for example. The Cuban Missile Crisis represented massive geopolitical tension, where the whole world came within mere hours of a nuclear war. Then, jump to 1983 with the Stanislav Petrov incident, which highlighted how our very survival literally came down to individual human instinct. What we're seeing here is humanity itself evolving into a danger capable of changing civilization forever. Let's really focus on that incredible 1983 incident for a minute. Stanislav Petrov was a Soviet officer who suddenly received a terrifying warning on his screens. His systems were flashing, indicating that the United States had just launched nuclear missiles. Now, protocol strictly dictated that he had to immediately report the attack, right? Which no doubt would have triggered a full-scale retaliatory nuclear strike. But he didn't.
Instead, he trusted his gut. He judged the alert to be a false alarm. He made a split-second, incredibly pressured decision. And thank goodness he was right. That single individual's judgment may very well have prevented a global nuclear catastrophe. Talk about high stakes.
But look, just because we have to worry about ourselves doesn't mean the cosmos has stopped throwing rocks at us. 1500. Back in 2013, a relatively small 20-meter meteor exploded in the sky over Chelyabinsk, Russia. The shockwave from that blast injured more than 1,500 people and damaged thousands of buildings. It's a sobering mathematical reality, honestly. If a larger asteroid were to strike a densely populated city today, the consequences would be absolutely devastating.
So after looking at this heavy track record of near misses, you have to ask, could Earth truly disappear? Well, the reality is our planet is far too massive to just vanish overnight. The physical sphere of rock and iron isn't going to just pop out of existence like you see in those wild sci-fi movies. But life on Earth, that is an entirely different story. The delicate, interconnected web of biological life and the incredibly complex civilization we've built on top of it, that remains highly, highly vulnerable.
Today, the list of documented threats capable of completely reshaping our civilization is vast. We're talking asteroids, supervolcanoes, pandemics, extreme climate shifts, and of course, our own human choices. If history teaches us anything, and I mean anything, it's this terrifying lesson. The absolute greatest threats on this list, they often arrive completely without warning.
But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Despite everything we've just covered, the astronomical impacts, the massive eruptions, the crazy near misses, our future remains unwritten. Earth has endured for billions of years, and our survival as a species has always relied on our ability to learn, to adapt, and to prepare. We don't study these past extinction events to panic. We study them to understand our vulnerabilities so we can protect our future.
The next chapter of Earth's story hasn't been written yet. Science and history tell us the question isn't really whether our planet will face another existential challenge, because it absolutely will. The real question is, will we be ready? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you next time.